There is a specific kind of silence that you can only find in the Japanese countryside. It is not the peaceful silence of a Zen garden, nor is it the quiet of a library. It is something heavier, something denser. If you stand in the middle of a village in Tokushima or Niigata, you might hear the cicadas screaming in the trees. You might hear the wind rushing through the cedar forests. But if you listen closely, you will notice what is missing. You will not hear the sound of children playing. You will not hear the hum of a passing car. You will not hear the clatter of dishes from a kitchen window. You are standing in a town that is still physically here, but its soul has already evaporated. This is the hidden face of the world's third largest economy. While the world looks at Tokyo, at its neon lights, its futuristic robots, and its crowded intersections, the rest of the country is quietly undergoing a slow-motion apocalypse. It is a phenomenon that has no precedent in human history. Japan is not at war. It has not been struck by a plague. It has not suffered a sudden economic collapse. And yet, it is vanishing. They are called Akiya, empty houses. As of today, there are over 9 million of them scattered across the archipelago. That is more than the total number of homes in New York City, Paris, and London combined. Every year, an area the size of Austria is abandoned. Schools are closing at a rate of 450 per year. Bus routes are being erased from the map. Entire zip codes are being deleted. We are witnessing the end of a civilization as we know it. Not with a bang, but with a whisper. Today, we are going to travel into the ghost villages of Japan. We will explore the economic trap that makes property worthless, the tragedy of the Valley of Dolls, and the terrifying future that awaits not just Japan, but the entire developed world. Welcome to the vanishing country. To understand why millions of beautiful homes are rotting away, we must first understand a fundamental difference between the Japanese mind and the Western mind. In the West, a house is an asset. It is a bank account. You buy a home, you maintain it, and you expect its value to rise over 30 years. A 100-year-old Victorian house in London is a treasure. In Japan, a house is a consumer good. It is like a car or a refrigerator. As soon as you sign the deed and turn the key, its value begins to crash. By the time a Japanese house is 15 years old, it has lost half its value. By the time it is 30 years old, it is legally and financially worthless. This is the culture of scrap and build. After World War II, Japan was a landscape of ash and ruin. The government needed to house millions of people fast. They prioritized speed and quantity over longevity. They updated building codes constantly to protect against earthquakes, inadvertently making older houses obsolete and unsafe in the eyes of the law. This created a psychological cycle. Japanese people do not want used homes. They want new. They want pristine. They want the smell of fresh tatami mats. So, for decades, the standard life cycle of a Japanese plot of land was, buy land, demolish the old house, build a new one. But then, the population stopped growing. The children who were supposed to inherit these houses moved to Tokyo. They became salarymen. They bought tiny condos in the city. When their parents passed away, they were left with a dilemma. They inherited a large, wooden house in the mountains. They cannot live in it because there are no jobs there. They cannot sell it because nobody wants a 40-year-old house that requires $50,000 in renovations. And here is the cruel twist. They cannot even tear it down. Japanese tax law incentivizes abandonment. If you own a piece of land with a standing structure on it, even if that structure is a rotting ruin, your property tax is reduced to 1/6 of the standard rate. But if you do the responsible thing, if you pay $20,000 to demolish the house and clear the land, your taxes skyrocket by 600%. So, the heirs make the only rational economic decision. They lock the doors, they close the curtains, and they walk away. They pay the minimal tax every year, waiting for nature to take its course, waiting for the roof to cave in, waiting for the problem to disappear. But the problem does not disappear. It multiplies. In the deep valleys of Shikoku Island, there is a village that perfectly encapsulates the horror and the heartbreak of this demographic collapse. It is called Nagoro, but the locals call it the village of scarecrows. On first glance, Nagoro looks inhabited. As you drive down the single main road, you see farmers tending to their fields. You see a woman waiting at a bus stop. You see a group of construction workers taking a cigarette break. You see a fisherman sitting by the river. But as you slow down, you realize something is wrong. They are not moving. Their skin is made of cloth. Their eyes are buttons. Their bodies are stuffed with straw. There are only 27 living humans left in Nagoro, but there are over 350 dolls. They are the work of one woman, Tsukimi Ayano. Decades ago, Nagoro was a bustling community. There were hundreds of families, a dam project, a school. But slowly, the jobs dried up. The young people left. The old people began to die. Ayano returned to the village to care for her dying father. When he passed, she made a scarecrow in his likeness to place in the field. She realized that seeing the figure gave her a sense of comfort. It made the village feel less empty, so she kept going. Every time a neighbor died or moved away, Ayano made a doll to replace them. She dressed the doll in the person's old clothes. She placed them where they used to sit, on their porch, in their garden, smoking a cigarette on a bench. The most haunting scene is the local school. The Nagoro Elementary School closed its doors in 2012 when the last 2 students graduated. But the classrooms are not empty. Ayano filled the school with phantom children. A sports day that never ends. A lesson that goes on forever. To some, this is art. To others, it is a horror story. But in reality, it is a memorial. It is a desperate attempt to deny the reality of extinction. Ayano is now over 70 years old. She is the youngest person in the village. When she is gone, who will repair the dolls? Who will stitch their faces when the rain tears them apart? Eventually, the cloth will rot, the straw will disintegrate, and Nagoro will return to the earth, leaving no trace that humans were ever here. If the countryside is dying, then surely the cities are thriving? Not exactly. Tokyo is often described as the beating heart of Japan, but in demographic terms, it is more like a tumor, or a black hole. Tokyo exerts a gravitational pull that sucks the life out of the rest of the nation. Every year, hundreds of thousands of young people, the best and brightest from the countryside, move to Tokyo. They come for the jobs. They come for the lifestyle. They come because they are told that success only exists inside the Yamano line. But Tokyo is a trap. It is a city designed for production, not reproduction. The cost of living is astronomical. The apartments are microscopically small. The work culture, as we explored in our previous documentary, is punishing. A young couple in Tokyo looks at their bank account, looks at their 25 square meter apartment, and asks, "Where would we put a baby?" The answer is, they don't. Tokyo has the lowest fertility rate in all of Japan. It consumes the youth of the nation, burns them out as corporate fuel, and fails to replace them. It is a sterilization machine disguised as a metropolis. This is the great irony of modern Japan. In the countryside, the infrastructure for raising families is sitting empty. There are massive houses with gardens. There are empty parks. There are schools with no students. The air is clean. The food is fresh. But there are no people. In the city, the people are stacked on top of each other like sardines, stressed, lonely, and childless. It is a misallocation of resources on a civilizational scale. The country has the hardware, but the software is crashing. When humans retreat, nature advances. Japan is a humid, volcanic archipelago. The soil is rich. The rain is frequent. Without the constant maintenance of human hands, without the weeding, the cutting, the trimming, the forest reclaims its territory with frightening speed. This is the green wave. Entire towns are being swallowed by vegetation. Bamboo forests, which need to be managed, are growing wild, encroaching on roads and power lines. But it is not just the plants. It is the animals. For centuries, Japan maintained a buffer zone between the wilderness and human settlements. It was called Satoyama, the managed woodlands. But as the villages empty out, the Satoyama is disappearing. The buffer zone is gone. Wild boars, monkeys, and Asiatic black bears are now descending from the mountains. They are entering the ghost towns. They are taking over the empty houses. In recent years, bear attacks in Japan have reached record highs, not because the bears are more aggressive, but because the boundary between human and wild has dissolved. We spent thousands of years taming this land. We poured concrete over the rivers. We tunneled through the mountains. We thought we had conquered nature. We were wrong. Nature was just waiting. Is there any hope? Is there any way to reverse the tide? In the last few years, a strange new phenomenon has emerged: the Akiya hunters. Foreigners, mostly from the United States, Australia, and Europe, have discovered Japan's empty houses. To a Westerner, the Japanese real estate market looks like a glitch in the matrix. They see a massive 4,000-square-foot house with exposed timber beams, tatami rooms, and a garden listed for $20,000 or $10,000, or sometimes free. They see value where the Japanese see trash. YouTubers are documenting their renovations. Akiya Banks, online databases of empty homes, are seeing record traffic from overseas. Some dying villages are actively courting these foreigners. They offer free houses, renovation subsidies, even visas. They are desperate for blood, any blood. But can a few thousand digital nomads save a nation of 125 million? The reality is complicated. Buying the house is the easy part. Living in the vanishing country is the hard part. Rural Japan is not a multicultural paradise. These are communities that have been closed off for centuries. There are strict, unwritten rules. Rules about how to sort your garbage into 15 different categories. Rules about when to cut your grass. Rules about how much money to donate to the local shrine festival. Foreigners who come looking for a Studio Ghibli lifestyle often find themselves isolated, confused, and resented by the locals. And structurally, the problems remain. You can renovate the house, but you cannot renovate the economy. There are no jobs. The hospital is an hour away. The school is closed. Unless you bring your own job, unless you are a remote worker, the Akiya life is a fantasy that quickly fades when the winter snows set in. So what is the endgame? The projections are terrifyingly clear. By 2050, Japan's population will fall below 100 million. By 2100, it could be as low as 60 million, having its peak. The government estimates that nearly 900 cities, towns, and villages are at risk of vanishing by 2040. This means they will simply cease to exist as administrative units. The post office will close. The police station will close. The town hall will shut its doors. Japan will become a nation of city-states. Megacities like Tokyo and Osaka, surrounded by a vast, wild, uninhabited frontier. But perhaps we are looking at this the wrong way. We are conditioned by 20th century capitalism to believe that growth is the only metric of success. That if a line on a graph isn't going up, it is a catastrophe. But maybe Japan is pioneering something new. Maybe this is not a collapse, but a correction, a return to a sustainable equilibrium. Less traffic, less pollution, more space, a life that is slower, quieter, and closer to the earth. The Japanese have a concept called mono no aware. It translates roughly to the pathos of things. It is the bittersweet realization that nothing lasts forever, that the cherry blossom is beautiful because it falls. Perhaps we need to apply mono no aware to the nation itself. Perhaps we need to find beauty in the fading. Japan is the canary in the coal mine. The rest of the developed world is watching closely because they know Japan is just 20 years ahead. South Korea is shrinking even faster. China has just begun its decline. Italy, Germany, Spain, they are all walking down the same path. We built our entire civilization, our pension systems, our real estate markets, our stock exchanges on the assumption of infinite growth, on the assumption that there would always be more children. That assumption was wrong. The vanishing country is a mirror. It forces us to ask, what is a country without people? Is it a tragedy? Or is it simply the closing of a chapter? As the sun sets over the abandoned villages of Shikoku, the silence returns. The ghosts of the past linger in the empty doorways. And in that silence, if you listen closely, you can hear the sound of the future. Japan is just the first. We are all walking down the same path. Subscribe to see where the path leads.